Hello everybody, here is your literacy lesson for Wednesday. So we are moving through our non-chronological reports, which we're going to write about keeping safe at sea. We're writing it for all the children in Key Stage 1, and the context is to help children to understand how to keep safe at the seaside. We're going to make sure that we have capital letters, finger spaces, full stops, question marks. We're going to use a range of conjunctions in there. We will find titles, subheadings, label diagrams, fact boxes, and probably some of these question words down here at the bottom. Let's move on. I need to move myself out of the way. So here is our spelling page to practice. Now, you know I love the pyramid writing, but I have put rainbow words on today and also tell a story, which is something slightly different. You could have a go at making a simple story using these words. So I'm going to read the words to you, and then this is a really good opportunity to stop the video and then have a go at practicing your spellings in whichever way you want to. So today's words are money, water, people, parents, and clothes. So pause now and practice. Okay, I hope you got on well with that. So today we are going to be exploring another non-fiction book all about whales. I don't know if you can remember when we looked at Wiggly Worms, and I was so excited to find a non-fiction book about them. So here's another one all about blue whales. So first question says, what type of book do you think it will be? Fiction or non-fiction? Now remember back to that session we had with Duncan where he helps us to draw the front cover of a storybook. Does this front cover look like it's a storybook, or does it look like it's an information book, a fact book? What do you think? So I've written my answer under here. It's non-fiction because it's got a photograph, so that really helps to give us a clue that it's going to be full of information. What features do you think you will find inside it? So have a little bit of thinking time, and I'm just going to find some bullet points that I can have a go at writing some down. So often when we have non-fiction books, I'm going to start at the beginning. We're going to find a contents page, okay? We might then find that we have got headings and subheadings. And then we will also find inside there, we might have fact boxes, we might have labels, diagrams, and what else might we have in there? And we might find that we've got words in bold. So let me add that one on. And those words which have been written in bold would then appear at the back of the book in something really special called the glossary. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. I need to keep moving myself, otherwise I'm just in the way. Let me put myself up here at the top. So this is the first page we're going to look at. And I've asked the question, why do non-fiction books have a contents page? So can you remember why I said they have a contents page in the previous lessons? So they have a contents page because it's really unusual to read a non-fiction book from the start to the finish. So the contents page helps you to just dip in and choose the bits of information that you specifically want. So I've written that down there. Okay, the next question says, what information would you find on page 7? So let's scan down here these page numbers, find page 7 and then go across to find what we're looking for. Actually, if I get a highlighter, I can hopefully make that really clear for you. So here's page 7. We're going to look across, and that says it's about blowholes and blubber, which is a bit strange. So there we go, blowholes and blubber. If I wanted to learn about those big baby blues, what page should I turn to? So again, if I'm on my highlighter, if I find those big baby blues, there it is, and I'm going to find that information on page 13. So let's remove that. So next question says, what is a glossary and how are the words organised? So I don't know if you can remember, but the glossary is like a little word bank within a non-fiction book, which gives definitions for the words inside order, which just makes it easier. So non-fiction texts include label blue whale is. So there's a bit of both so that you can compare really big, long word. Based on the horizon, they are list and wide. That word shoots high into the air. Oh, I'm going to get my highlighter. What's a super fat? We'll just label that. Just because whale size is impressive, to be as long as approximately weighs as much as an elephant. Its main blood vessels. Wow! And it says here a blue whale's color of over here. It is 30 long. Weighs as much as an elephant. Right, let's have a look at the next page. Mammoth mean? How can you tell information here? And why do whales have below the definition for mammal, didn't we? Oops, sorry, I keep going back. Starts to read. So here, what's mammal? A blue whale breathes holes on the top of its head. So this question. It has baleen, and you're going to learn about that later. The criteria that tell that you can use, they're warm-blooded and they produce milk to feed their young. So let's answer that bit of the question first, because we found that information out first of all, haven't we? So mammals breathe air, have, oops, let me try and go down, have hair, are warm blooded. Oh dear me, it's a bit hard to type. My font size isn't quite the right size to then be able to write in. Are warm-blooded and feed their young milk. Okay, great. So let's let's find the highlighter holes on their heads. So that's what we need to put there. Why do whales have blowholes? Whales inhale and exhale through air. That means sends out 2 seconds. How fast do blue whales travel are our questions. How long can they stay underwater for? And why do they have blubber? This technically called might be a bit of the blubber. Says, a whale breathes. Flukes are made up of tissue, not to belong at 5 miles per hour. So let's get the high. They would do that if they felt that they travel at up next. Right, let's read. So blue whales can stay for about 30. Now that's 30 as a word. So we can choose it as a word. I can't type. 30 as numbers. It will be 1,280 feet, which is fat called blubber just beneath there. The blubber insulates them. So that means you keep the whale's arrow to move forward. So we're going to learn about what they eat and how they eat. And then we're going to see if you can tell where you would find the words that have been written in bold. So when blue whales dive, they are searching for their favourite food, which is called krill. So that's the very first answer spotted straight away. Okay. Krill are tiny-like creatures that live in groups. Let's write that down. What do blue whales eat? Typing again. And then we're going to write krill, which is small shrimp-like creatures. And how do they eat? This is really interesting. And I read it somewhere, it's quite interesting to think that the blue whale is one of the most enormous animals in the ocean and the smallest. So it's funny that the biggest animal is one of the smallest that you will find. Swarms of krill can be found near the water surface as well as deep in ocean depths. It may seem strange that the largest animal in the world feeds on one of the smallest. Blue whales are gargantuan, but their throats are very narrow. Their esophagus is only inches wide, so they cannot swallow anything which is large. Blue whales also have no teeth for chewing. They must swallow their food whole. Instead of teeth, blue whales have plates of baleen on their keratin, the same material as our hair and fingernails, are like a moustache growing inside the whale's mouth. Baleen works like a filter. The blue whale's mouth and takes a gulp of seawater, full of swimming krill. The whale's throat gets larger to hold thousands of gallons of seawater. Then the whale closes its mouth and uses its tongue to push the seawater through the baleen and back out into the sea. Because the krill cannot pass through the baleen, they stay trapped inside the whale's mouth and are swallowed whole. A blue whale eats about 40 million krill each day. So, how do blue whales eat? So that's quite complicated, but we could simply say blue whales eat by catching krill in their mouth and swallowing them whole. Oh, font size. Whole. I've written over the top of my words. Just give me a second and I'll rearrange things. I'll make that slightly smaller, otherwise it's not going to fit. Oh dear, and I'm in the way again. Ugh. Such a lot to do when you're trying to do it on a flip chart to film. It's sometimes, some ways, it's so much easier when you're in the classroom, right? So then, where would you find the words bold, esophagus, krill, and baleen, and keratin? So those words which are written in bold, you will find in the glossary of the book. Okay, let's move on. Why do blue whales migrate towards the equator? And why do scientists think that whales sing? Now, migrating is when animals move depending on the seasons. So, blue whales can be found gliding through the depths of every ocean on our planet. They travel alone or in pairs, going wherever krill live. During the summer months, blue whales feed in polar waters. When winter comes, both the krill and the whales migrate towards the equator. So they have to move because they can't get the food anymore in those freezing cold Arctic waters. A favourite gathering spot for many blue whales is the Costa Rica Dome off the southern coast of Central America. So blue whales migrate, oops, don't want a line, we need to type, they migrate in order to find krill to eat. Fab. And then why do scientists think that whales sing? So I don't think we definitely know the answer to this. Blue whales are not only the largest animal in the world, but they are the loudest. These whales can produce sounds louder than a jet engine. Whale songs can travel for miles through the water. Even though whale sounds are loud, they are impossible for people to hear without special equipment. Some scientists think that whales use sonar to help them to find their way through dark ocean waters, much as the same way a bat would navigate. Other scientists think that whales sing to communicate with each other. Scientists do know that only male whales sing. They have also discovered that whales in different parts of the world sing slightly different songs. So we've got two possible reasons there. So we could think that two reasons whales sing to communicate, or whales sing to navigate, really, isn't it? To find their way around. Oh, let's check spelling. Navigate, there we go. Right, let's move on to the next page. Okay, so I've got a question for us to answer together. I know that's a lot of information that we've just shared, and I know it's quite hard to digest, particularly if you're reading it at home. So we're going to have a go at answering this question together. What is the author's main purpose in writing that non-fiction book? Do you think it was to inform readers about blue whales? Do you think it was to inform readers about the types of sonar? Was it to entertain readers with whale jokes? or was it to persuade readers to buy a whale? Right, let's look at those carefully. So I'm going to go through. There was absolutely no mention of that word sonar. So that one can be crossed out. It's not about that. I didn't have any whale jokes as I was reading, so it can't be about that one. And if you were listening, I don't think we were trying to persuade anybody to buy a whale. So it's not that one either. We didn't say they'd make a really great pet because they're so big you couldn't keep a whale at home. So the answer is this one. It is to inform readers all about blue whales. Okay, let's move on to the next bit. So this is your task for today. I know we've spent quite a long time reading all of that information. So I wonder if you could just have a little go at thinking about what features allow the blue whale, which is a mammal, to survive in water. So think about it. And there were some special ways in which that animal had been adapted to survive in water. Think about how mammals need to breathe air. And there was one adaptation we read about right at the very beginning that the whale uses in order to be able to breathe in air. So if you could write a sentence to explain that in your books, that would be absolutely brilliant. All right, take care, and we're looking forward to seeing your work on Dojo.